Hey everyone, it's Charity from Kinston Community Health Center. Did you know that breast cancer accounts for 12.5% of all new cancers diagnosed in the world each year, making it the most common cancer worldwide? Or that 1 out of 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer in their lifetime? Did you also know that it's estimated that 2,800 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer each year as well? Today, I'm inviting you to our third annual Let's Get It Off Our Chest Breast Cancer Community Walk on October the 28th. Our own little way here at Kinston Community Health Center to help bring awareness to such a big and important topic. But don't just take it from me. You will hear testimonials from our very own breast cancer warriors about their courageous fight against breast cancer. We hope that all of our staff, our patients, and that the community will join us on October 27th for this walk to help honor and celebrate all of the breast cancer warriors, past and present, with the hope of one day giving breast cancer the boot completely. Thank you, and we hope to see you there.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Ojong. I work in the Department of Family Medicine. I enjoy talking about wellness and health literacy. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and breast cancer is the second leading cancer among female, and about 13% of women will be diagnosed with female breast cancer at some point during their lifetime, according to the National Cancer Institute data. But enough about facts and numbers. Today, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I have VIP guests that have graciously agreed to share their own personal stories, and we are so grateful for their vulnerability. And my first guest is Miss Donna. Please, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Donna Barwick, and I work here at Kinston Community Health Center. I'm the Prescription Assistance Coordinator, and I'm also a Stage 3 breast cancer survivor.
And one little interesting fact that we like to ask is, what is a nickname that your loved one and family members call you?
My favorite nickname is Nani, because I have several grandkids, and that's what they call me, and I just love it.
And that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that you are here to witness that. So, how long has it been since your breast cancer has been in remission?
I have been in remission for 7 years now.
Okay, wow. So it's been some time. At what age did you start doing your breast cancer screening, and are you aware of any risk factors that you had?
I was actually 39 years old when I was diagnosed with Stage 3 breast cancer. And I was actually doing my self-exam when I found the lump myself.
Oh, wow. So you basically were doing your self-breast exam, and that's how it was discovered. So it was actually before the recommended screening for breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay. And was that the first time that you knew something was different about your breast?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so how did you feel in that moment, and whom did you tell or confide in?
Actually, I was scared to death, and the first person I confided in was my husband. I let him know right away that I had found a lump in my breast, and that I thought it was something that we needed to have checked out.
Okay. And how did your husband respond?
Immediately, he was ready to call and have something done, have me an appointment to get checked out.
So he was like right on the ball.
Absolutely.
And,
his mother actually had breast cancer, and so he was familiar with the situation.
Okay. So it was kind of helpful to have somebody who had that, experience prior. And so I'm assuming he was a big cheerleader and supporter.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. What was, shifting a little bit, what was the most difficult part for you?
I think the most difficult part for me was having to tell my family, telling my children, and watching them watch me go through the radiation and the chemo and the sickness and side effects.
Okay. Do you think that there were some that were a little bit more impacted or responded a little bit different?
I think so. My youngest son was home with me at the time, so he saw a lot of the side effects and the sicknesses and the trauma that I went through during my treatments.
Okay. I can only imagine how that, must have been very difficult. Did you speak to a therapist or practice a form of mindfulness? And did it help in the process?
I didn't really speak to a therapist as much as I talked to my oncologist a lot at Duke, and I did a lot more praying and confiding in God.
Mm-hmm.
And I did speak with my bishop at our church about it and received a lot of prayers and support.
And I can only imagine those kind of, helped and strengthened
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
your fight and just your hope as a whole. From whom and where did you draw your strength? So you mentioned your bishop, your family. Were there any other friends or other people that came around to really embrace you in this tough time?
A lot of my healthcare providers at the cancer center. Talking with other breast cancer patients, like when we were sitting in the waiting room talking and comparing stories and talking about what helped with their treatment or stuff like that, being able to talk with other survivors.
So you kind of found support amongst other survivors as well. Okay. Wonderful. And then how did you decide what treatment was right for you?
My husband and I actually went to Duke Cancer Center, and I just confided in my oncologist and had faith that they knew the best protocol for me at the time, and I just trusted in them and went through with the plan that they had for me, and just trusted in God that He was going to take care of me and help me fight it.
Wonderful. Were there any hesitation or was there any concern of things that were discussed?
Absolutely. Since I had stage 3 breast cancer, I actually ended up having a double mastectomy, and I actually am also a BRCA2 cancer gene carrier, and so that was, scary also, which led to me having a full hysterectomy. So, and I went through chemo, I went through radiation, a lot of surgeries. My hair fell out, but I'm here.
Amen. That is definitely God's, testament. For our viewers, can you a little bit explain about the BRCA2 for those who are not familiar with the term or what that is?
BRCA2 it's a cancer gene that I carry, and could be passed down to generations in my family as well. Mine was actually done through a blood test, and
okay. So basically, it was the gene, as part of the workup, your oncologist had ordered, the lab work, and that was one of the lab work that showed that you were a carrier.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, it can be passed, amongst families. So if you do have that gene, then, future family members should also be tested for it. Yeah. Okay. And how is this experience, now that you're on the other side and you're well and, you're definitely a testament of faith and hope, how has this experience transformed you for the better?
Well, I used to be really shy and wouldn't talk in public like we are now. But it's really brought me out of my shell, and I have a lot of people that have been diagnosed with breast cancer since I've had it, and I've been able to share my story and my testimony and the trials that I've gone through to help them through their burdens as well. And of course, my faith in God is a lot stronger. It brought my family a whole lot closer together, and I would say that going through this has been a trial and a blessing in my life, because I am able to share it with other women that are going through this, to help them to know that I'm a survivor and you can be one too.
Very true, very true. So it sounds, to kind of, reflect back what you said, that you have now become kind of like that coach and that supporter, and, can become that tribe for women that, get newly diagnosed or have questions or concerns. You definitely can empathize, but more importantly, sympathize, because you've also had that experience and you are on the other side. So you're definitely, a beacon of hope, and we appreciate, you sharing. And what would you tell a family or a close friend if they ask for advice in regards to breast cancer?
I would definitely say do your monthly breast exams. Have your mammograms done. If you feel a lump or anything that is out of place or not normal to you, have it checked out. Don't wait, don't hesitate, have it checked out immediately, because cancer doesn't go away on its own, and it's something that needs to be given full attention immediately.
Okay, and so again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your vulnerability, for your transparency, for your courage, for being a survivor, and just sharing, your own personal story so that others can be informed and, learn more about it. And so our takeaway is definitely October is Breast Cancer Month, so get your mammograms. As a female, get familiar with your breast by doing self-breast exam on a monthly basis, maybe when you're in the shower. And again, it does not go away, so please don't ignore the signs, and you could actually be the first person to notice that something is wrong. So please, please, please do your exams. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back again. We have our second guest, Mrs. Betty. Welcome. We're so grateful to have you, and so grateful for you two agreeing to participate. Can you tell us more about you?
Sure. Hi, my name is Betty Ham. I'm a certified medical assistant at Kinston Community Health Center, and I'm a 10-year survivor of breast cancer.
Wow, amazing. At what age did you start doing your breast cancer screening, and did you have any risk factors?
At age 40, there was people in my family with breast cancer, so I guess that was it. Family.
So family history was your risk factor. Okay. And when was the first time that you knew that something was different about your breast?
I didn't. They called it at my mammogram.
Okay. So it was your annual mammogram that was the first time that you realized and that you were aware that something was going on with your breast?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you feel, and who did you tell?
I felt, wow, this for real? I was at work. I left here, went got a mammogram, got my diagnosis, come back, kind of shocked. So I talked with Dr. Millett, told family, but I had to calm down. I didn't want to scare my children, so I stayed in control.
Okay.
And we went from there.
Wow. So let me rewind. So you went to work.
I was at
You
work.
went back to work.
Yes, I came back to work
Wow.
after I got my diagnosis.
That's quite some strength right there in and of itself.
Yes.
So you were able to finish out the day.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It was on a Friday.
Wow. And what was the most difficult part for you?
Well, coming back to work the week after I did chemo, I worked that whole while, but the week after I did chemo, my blood counts would drop, so they pulled me out of work. I was kind of weak that week. Other than that, I worked that whole while.
So that must have been really hard to, be out of your routine and out of your element.
Yeah, it was hard.
Okay. And did you speak to a therapist or practice a form of mindfulness, and did it help?
No, I didn't speak to a therapist. I just talked with my church family. They helped my children and my grandchildren. Spent a lot of time with my granddaughter. She was my chauffeur.
So that was kind of your support system,
Yeah.
your granddaughter. And did you guys pray together? Did she have words of encouragement?
No, she just kept up with me. Every time I looked, she was looking at me. So But my son, he was there too.
Okay.
He was the boss.
Okay. So it seemed that family was kind of like your strong support
Yeah.
system, and they kind of had your back.
Yes.
Okay. And so would you say that is where you got your strength from your family members, and, you know, like any support from your oncologist or Dr. Millett that you mentioned?
Yeah, and my co-workers and my church family, they played a big help.
Okay. So it sounds like you had a very strong community.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did you decide what treatment was right for you?
Well, the doctor told me what I needed to do. My son was with me. Mom, we're going to do this. Mom, we're going to do that. So whatever he told me to do, I did it.
Okay.
Because I just let my son tell me what to do.
Okay. And did you have to do any surgery, chemo, radiation?
I had a mastectomy, not a mastectomy, a lumpectomy. I did radiation and I did chemotherapy.
And remind us, what stage was your cancer?
Stage 1.
Okay, so you were in the early stage, and you still kind of went through some of those, but instead of taking out the whole breast, they took out the lump, which
Right.
is what the lumpectomy is.
Yes.
And you still had the chemo and the radiation.
Yes.
Okay. And how has this experience transformed you for the better?
Well, thinking about my yearly screenings is not a second thought. I know I got to do them, stay on top of it. And I eat better. And try to walk when I can.
Okay. And so thank you so much for your vulnerability, for your candor, for your courage, and for giving hope to the women out there. And so our parting question is, what would you tell a family or a close friend if they ask for advice in regards to breast cancer?
I would tell them to make sure they do their yearly mammogram, do their self-breast checks, and trust God.
Okay. So again, it sounds like we're hearing your yearly mammogram is essential as part of the screening. Being familiar with your own body is important, and just having a source of faith and strength, whether it's family, support from a higher power, and just, you know, continuing to believe that you too can survive and come on the other side. And one last question that we didn't ask before is, what nicknames do your family member call you?
My nickname is Bet.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you again for being part of that and for encouraging others. And October is Breast Cancer Month, so please get your mammograms. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ojon.
Our third and final VIP guest is none other than Dr. West. Thank you, Dr. West, for your candor and for your vulnerability and for sharing your story. So welcome, Dr. West. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Dr. West, and I was a former full-time OB/GYN physician here at KCSC, and I'm from Goldsboro, and my nickname is Koo.
All right, moving on. Our first question is, how long has it been since your breast cancer has been in remission?
I finished chemo and radiation in May 2022. So I've been in remission for about 1.5 years now.
At what age did you start doing breast cancer screening, and did you have any risk factors?
I started breast cancer screening at the age of 40. And some of the risk factors that I had was having my children after the age of 30 and having my periods, my menses before the age of 12.
What was the first time that you knew something was different about your breast?
I knew something was wrong but I didn't know it was breast cancer. When I was first diagnosed with COVID, I had residual symptoms such as chest discomfort and lymph node soreness in my chest. And one of my breasts was always smaller than the other, so I knew something may be wrong. I wasn't sure, but then I did seek medical attention, and sure enough, my primary care doctor examined my chest and recommended that I get a mammogram.
How did you feel, and who did you tell?
Initially I was very frightened and scared. I did tell my family, my immediate family.
What was the most difficult part for you?
I think that the most difficult part of this process was being a healthcare provider myself and recommending screenings and teaching screenings to my patients, but not following the same advice that I gave my patients on a daily basis, and not following my advice, not screening myself.
Did you speak to a therapist or practice a form of mindfulness, and did it help?
I did need therapy to help me through my diagnosis. I needed the therapist to help me sort out my feelings, and I also needed spiritual guidance, and I needed help to help me not to blame myself for my diagnosis, and not to carry that guilt, and to realize that every time you wake up in the morning, every time you see another day, God is actually giving you that second chance. And that me having that second chance means that I can go the next day and I could do better next time. And because life is not promised, you could wake up one morning and then the next minute you can be in a car accident and lose your life. So I do have a different perspective on life, and I find my encouragement in knowing that God still loves me and He's still merciful to me. And this encourages me. And I do believe that there is life after death, and that God wants us to be with Him in heaven.
How did you decide what treatment was right for you?
Deciding what treatment was right for me was difficult. I did have to seek God in prayer. I did have my father, my earthly father, who was a cancer survivor as well, and he underwent traditional treatment. And he has been in remission for over 24 years after the doctors told him he would only have 3 years at best. And so ultimately, no matter what treatment you decide to choose for yourself, God is the ultimate healer. And so I believe whatever you decide, just seek Him.
How has the experience transformed you for the better?
Yes, I do believe that this experience has transformed me for the better. I now follow the recommendations to see my doctor and get my pap smears. I get my yearly mammogram screenings. I'm learning to put myself first and to love myself and do the best that I can here for my family and for my children. And I'm learning not to be so stubborn, and I have a different mindset that even though I worked in healthcare, I'm not invincible. And you always think, oh, this can't happen to me, but it can. And we all need to be mindful of that, and all need to make sure we're getting our screenings, if not for yourself, for your loved ones.
What would you tell a family or close friend if they ask for advice in regards to breast cancer?
If I have to give advice to someone else, I would tell them to don't be hard-headed, don't be stubborn. Go ahead and see the doctor. Get your mammograms, get your screenings. Every year, after the age of 40, you should be getting them every year. I waited after the age of 40. I got my mammogram at the age of 40, but I waited too long and I put it off. And I would tell others, don't do that. Please get your screenings. The earlier that you get your screenings and the earlier things are detected, the less treatment you may have to go through.
Again, Dr. West, thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure our patients will benefit, our larger community will benefit, and as you can see from all the wonderful VIP that we had, breast cancer screening is very important. So do get your yearly mammogram exam and make sure that you get familiar with your own breast by doing your own self-breast exam, so that together we can live together healthier, longer lives. Thank you.